Doma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing. So y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Well, the big one. Dillian Whyte stops Alexander Povetkin in round four with all kind of stuff. Straight right hand, left hook, everything. Took him out, and that's it. Took him from round four to do it, and it's over. Dillian Whyte has avenged his loss. Bottom line. Now, as I'm watching the fight, Dillian Whyte won every round, right? It's only went 4 rounds. I had Dillian Whyte winning every single round. But I'll make a couple of notes, in between. I was like, at the beginning, it's like, Dillian Whyte is crazy enough. That's why I like him. He's crazy enough to let his hands go in round one. That's why I was like, damn, for all of us who was talking about he's going to stay out and just only jab, even though he out jabbed Povetkin, right? He was jabbing, staying on the outside, but he was letting his hands go. Those crazy old overhand rights and wild punches that Dillian throws when he's upset. When you start hitting on him, right? He gonna do those. Now, when it comes to Dillian Whyte, right now I'm talking about I like him, not really no more. But at the beginning when he was fighting Anthony Joshua, I was going for Dillian Whyte in an Anthony Joshua fight because I was indifferent and I was thinking, well, Dillian Whyte, he's the underdog here and he's trying to fight. And I was going for him most of the fight until I seen that he was trying to, when Joshua was getting the better of him. After the round is over, still swinging at Joshua, and it looked to me in that fight that he was trying to find a way out. Similar to Mike Tyson biting he ran Holyfield's ear off, right? Certain times, these tough guys, okay, well, this is the way to get out. I look tough doing something silly, to get disqualified. But Dillian Whyte has that craziness, right, where it's just like, hey, I'm gonna do this. But back to my notes. In the second round, I was like, Povetkin looked dazed and tired, and I put a question mark. Is that COVID? Right? That's what I wrote. And then in round three, I was like, Povetkin, there's absolutely no head movement, and he's slow, right? And I'm gonna tell you, for me, something looked wrong with Alexander Povetkin. Don't want to tarnish or take away anything from Dillian's win. I don't know what people are saying because I'm gonna be honest about this. I was, me and my lady would watch some quality time, and I just was able to watch the beginning of the fight. After the national anthem, I didn't even see the introductions. I saw the beginning of the fight and the end. I ain't even looking at nothing else. I ain't got no time, right? So, but that was shades of Tyson Fury Deontay Wilder rematch there, right? Because in that fight, if you watch Deontay Wilder fights, you were like, what is all this exhaustion and stumbling around the ring in round one and two? How does that work? That's not the same fight I watch all the time. And even though Povetkin is not the, you see Povetkin exhausted a time or two, but that early to be exhausted and stumbling all over the ring, something looked weird there. Povetkin didn't look right. And he's the same thing I'm gonna say about Deontay Wilder. He didn't look right. Povetkin didn't look right here. Now, if it's COVID, if it's he got hit by a punch right at the beginning of the fight that I didn't see because Povetkin got punch resiliency. So I don't know what was wrong with Povetkin, but he looks like something was wrong with him. I don't know if it's just because maybe with COVID, it's a lung things, lung capacity and stuff like that. You think you're okay, but once you hit that exhaustion, maybe it's a different type of exhaustion, that muscle failure, that total exhaustion where I gotta go sit down somewhere. That kind of exhaustion that only old people know about. Maybe it was something like that. I don't know, but he looked weird. He looked way too exhausted for that fight. But you don't want to start saying those kind of things, right? But I'm going to say it anyway. He looked weird. It looked weird to me, but Dillian handled his part of the bargain, and he handled his business. If I find some more information, I find some more information. But after watching the fight, Dillian handled his business, came out throwing his hands early. He was still defensively, responsible in most cases, right? Except for when we started throwing them real wild punches. I was like, oh, he about to get caught again. But, so, you can't really, take anything away from Dillian Whyte. That's first. But I am not going to sit here and act like I didn't see Povetkin that looked weird to me. The fatigue that Povetkin had that early. It was just kind of weird, and it reminded me, because it's the same thing I'm complaining about Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. That's that kind of fatigue that's just way too early. We watch these cats all the time. It's not the first fight, or it's not some guy, a journeyman. You get up and give them 2 weeks notice and say fight, and they all exhausted in round two. That's not what Povetkin is. Even though he gained about 4 pounds, and he's not doesn't look the fittest in the world, but this guy does this for a living for a long time, and you're just not gonna see him that exhausted that early. But anyway, we're gonna cut it here. Got things to do. Dillian Whyte has avenged his loss. Trilogy, or we're gonna start talking about other fights. Let's see what happens. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide, and I'm about to hear y'all.